I never thought a single text message could shatter a decade of my life. The screen glowed at 2:17 a.m., a tiny beacon of destruction in the darkness of our Chicago bedroom. It wasn't my phone. It was hers, lying face up on the nightstand. Just one line of a preview was visible, a name I didn't recognize. Julian, still buzzing from tonight. Can't get that hotel room out of my head. My wife, Sarah, slept peacefully beside me, her breathing steady, completely unaware that our world was about to detonate. I felt the air leave my lungs, a cold dread coiling in my stomach. What hotel room? And who the hell was Julian? I knew right then and there that my life as I knew it was over. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. For weeks, I lived in a fog of suspicion. Sarah had become distant, a stranger wearing my wife's face. The laughter we used to share was replaced by forced smiles. Late nights at the firm, she'd say, kissing my cheek with lips that felt cold, "This big merger is killing me." She started guarding her phone like it was a national secret, its screen always angled away from me. Little things started to add up. Credit card receipts from fancy restaurants on Rush Street I'd never been to. A new, expensive perfume she only wore on her late work nights. She'd come home smelling of it and something else. Another man's cologne, faint but undeniable. The worst part was the gaslighting. When I'd gently ask about her day, she'd snap. "Why are you always checking up on me, Mark? Don't you trust me?" She twisted my concern into accusations, making me feel like the crazy one, the one with the problem. She was so good at it, so convincing, that for a while, I almost believed her. I felt small, humiliated, questioning my own sanity, while she painted me as a controlling husband. The love of my life was treating me like an obstacle, and the villains, her and this ghost named Julianne, seemed untouchable. The breaking point came on a rainy Tuesday. She said she was having dinner with her colleagues at a steakhouse downtown. Doubts gnawed at me, so I did something I never thought I'd do. I drove past the restaurant. Her car wasn't there. A sick intuition led me a few blocks over, to the parking garage of the Omni Chicago Hotel, and there it was, her Lexus parked on the 3rd level. I sat in my car across the street, the rain blurring my vision, my heart hammering against my ribs. An hour later, I saw them, Sarah laughing, her arm linked with a tall, smug-looking man with slicked-back hair. He leaned in and kissed her, a long, passionate kiss right under the amber glow of a street lamp. It wasn't a friendly peck, it was the kiss of a lover. In that moment, watching them walk away, hand in hand, something inside me broke. The pain was so sharp, so physical, it felt like a knife twisting in my gut. I drove home, the city lights a meaningless blur, and I sat in our dark living room, the one we'd decorated together, and I wept. Not just for the betrayal, but for the man I used to be, the happy, trusting husband she had just killed. That night, the grief turned into something else, something cold and hard. As she slept, oblivious, I became a detective in my own home. I remembered an old baby monitor we used, one with audio recording capabilities. I charged it and hid it under our bed. My pain was my fuel now. I started documenting everything. I used software to recover deleted texts from our shared cloud account. Messages filled with their plans, their inside jokes, their explicit descriptions of what they did in hotel rooms while I was at home, waiting for my wife. I photographed the credit card statements. I logged every late night, every flimsy excuse. Julian wasn't just some fling. He was a partner at a rival investment firm. They were mixing business with pleasure, and based on their texts, they were sharing confidential information from our respective companies. This wasn't just cheating. This was professional and personal demolition. Sarah had become a master manipulator, her voice dripping with fake affection on the phone with me, only to mock me in her texts to him minutes later. She called me predictable and boring. She laughed about how easy it was to lie to me. Reading those words felt like swallowing glass, but I kept going, gathering my arsenal piece by piece. My heartbreak had crystallized into a single chilling purpose: revenge. The plan formed slowly, meticulously. I wasn't going to just expose her. I was going to dismantle the life she had built on a foundation of lies. I hired the best divorce attorney in Chicago, a shark named Mr. Harrison. I laid out all the evidence, the texts, photos, the audio recordings, and especially the proof of corporate espionage. Harrison's eyes lit up. I explained that in Illinois, adultery could significantly impact alimony, especially when marital assets were used to facilitate the affair. And the corporate malfeasance. That was the kill shot. We timed everything perfectly. I chose the day of her firm's annual charity gala, a night she cared about more than our anniversary. It was her stage, where she schmoozed with partners and clients, cementing her image as a rising star. 2 days before the event, I moved half of our joint savings into a private account, just as Harrison advised. I packed a bag. The night of the gala, she looked radiant in a sequined gown, oblivious to the storm about to break. "You're not coming?" she asked, a flicker of annoyance in her eyes. "I'm not feeling well," I said calmly. "You go have fun. You deserve it." Her smile was condescending as she walked out the door for the last time. An hour into the gala, the trap sprang. Mr. Harrison filed the divorce petition electronically, simultaneously sending a certified copy to her office. At the same time, I emailed a detailed dossier to the entire board of directors at her firm and at Julian's. The email contained irrefutable proof of their affair. But more importantly, it detailed their exchange of proprietary information, complete with screenshots of their texts discussing specific clients and strategies. It attached the audio files of them laughing about their deception. The fallout was immediate and catastrophic. I was told later that her boss pulled her aside mid-speech. She was fired on the spot, escorted out of the building in her gala gown, her face a mask of disbelief and horror. Julian was suspended, pending an investigation that would ultimately ruin his career. When Sarah finally got home, the locks were changed. Her designer clothes and bags were in boxes on the front porch. I watched from the window as she stared at the divorce papers taped to the front door, her face ashen under the porch light. The arrogant, untouchable woman was gone, replaced by someone utterly broken. Her calls went to voicemail. Her frantic texts went unanswered. I had taken away her job, her reputation, her lover, and her home in one single calculated strike. The weeks that followed were a blur of legal proceedings. In court, Sarah was a shadow of her former self. The judge was not sympathetic. Presented with the mountain of evidence, he awarded me the house, a majority of our assets, and denied her any alimony due to her egregious economic and marital misconduct. She was left with nothing but her debts and her shame. The social fallout was just as brutal. Our friends, once her friends, saw the evidence and sided with me. She became a pariah. I heard through the grapevine she had to move back in with her parents in a small town outside. Miami, the powerful Chicago executive, was gone forever. And then, this morning, the news broke. Julian, disgraced and facing potential legal action from his firm, was found in his downtown apartment. The reports were vague, but the conclusion was clear. The pressure had been too much. When I saw the headline flash across my screen, I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no pity, just a profound and chilling emptiness. The war was over. I had won. But standing alone in the quiet of my house, I realized victory felt just as hollow as defeat. My revenge was complete, but the woman I had once loved was now just a ghost in a life I no longer recognized. The end.